Beneath the silvery moonlight, Louisiana's river flowed quietly, harboring a chilling secret. Villagers whispered of a mermaid, guardian of the waters, demanding tributes from any who dared cross. Defiance meant vanishing forever. One night, a cry echoed from the riverbank, fueling rumors that Ella, the village's beloved, had been swallowed by the current. Why would Ella, with her kind heart and radiant smile, meet such a cruel fate? Was a sinister plot at play? Here begins a tale of envy, love, and sacrifice, drawing you into an emotional journey where shocking twists and supernatural elements hold you captive. What is the river's secret, and can Ella return from death's grasp? Dive into this folkloric saga where love battles a curse and betrayal reaps dire consequences. Ella was born and raised amid the damp hay bales and rustling reeds of a Louisiana swamp village, where sunlight pierced the mangrove canopy, casting dappled light and shadow on her round, childish face. From her earliest awareness, she was bound to this marshland with her whole heart. Mornings, Ella knelt with her parents by a smouldering straw fire, carefully wrapping rice bundles and picking the freshest gumbo leaves. The clatter of pots and pans was the music heralding a new day. At noon, she'd skip to the canal, clapping the water to make fish leap, humming African folk songs her grandmother taught, her clear voice like dew on lotus leaves. In the village, elders never tired of praising Ella. They lauded her gentleness, diligence, and willowy grace. Children trailed her, gazing at her warm smile as if it were the morning sun filtering through leaves. Her family wasn't wealthy, but their Creole meals, rich with shrimp, crab, and sweet corn, radiated warmth and love. Evenings, they gathered to share old tales, listening to Grandma recount myths of the mermaid who ruled the waters, her stories sometimes chilling, sometimes soaring with harvest prayers. Ella listened raptly, eyes gleaming with a thirst to uncover the river's hidden mysteries. Each year, the River Festival was the village's holiest moment. Villagers crafted rafts from waterlogged grass adorned with pristine water lilies, offering gifts to the river. Drums pounded, frenzied dance steps ignited the night. The scent of gumbo, lobster, cornmeal, and fiery cayenne wafted through every alley. Ella eagerly awaited this day. She longed to cross the riverbank, place rice beside a lily, and hear the water's spirit echo back. In her heart, she believed sincere offerings would protect her family and bless the crops. Yet not everyone in the village saw Ella with affection. 3 peers, Lila, Myra, and Faye, clustered in hushed trios, their eyes flashing envy. Ella's radiance, the elders' praise, and the admiring glances from boys stoked their resentment. While Ella focused on singing, net weaving, and helping her mother cook, Lila and her friends quietly nurtured plans to undermine her. They didn't just envy her looks, but felt cheated by the special opportunities she received, like being invited to dance on the festival stage. Deep down, Lila, Myra, and Faye hatched a cunning scheme. They feigned friendliness, flashing warm smiles when meeting Ella, even echoing praise for her voice and filial piety. They invited her to weave flower crowns for her hair, promising she'd shine brightest at the festival. But in cool breezes, they exchanged icy glances, plotting to lure her to the river without an offering. "My parents don't let me leave alone," Ella hesitated. Lila replied sweetly, voice like honey. "They're just worried. We'll cross, offer gifts, and return before the drums stop." Ella's mother was the sharpest in the family, her eyes reading thoughts from a mere furrowed brow. Lately, she sensed a shift around her daughter, especially when Lila, Myra, and Faye visited. The trio arrived at their doorstep in bright dresses, smiling broadly, but their eyes held glints of envy only a keen mother could spot. Before leaving to visit kin across the Mississippi's south bank, she gave Ella tender warnings. Pulling her daughter's hem close, her thin hands on Ella's shoulders, she whispered, "Not everyone who smiles is a friend, my love. Be careful." Her voice carried worry and love, stirring unease in Ella's heart, sensing danger beneath the gentle words. Yet Ella, with her pure heart and deep trust in village bonds, brushed off her mother's caution. She told herself the village was family, that years of harmony proved no one would harm another, and grudges existed only in the myths her grandmother told by the fire. Her father, understanding her childlike spirit, reassured his wife, then gave Ella a long list of chores to complete before her mother's trip. Scrub the floor, gather dry wood, tend the pigs, mend frayed jute, and prepare rice, water lilies, and cornbread for the river festival offering. Handing her the neatly itemized paper, he was stern yet loving. "Don't go to the festival. The river isn't safe." Ella promised to stay home, vowing to finish before dusk, but deep down she couldn't hide her excitement. Under the morning's dry sunlight, she set the list on the table, her eyes sparkling with a yearning to dance under the festival's firelight. At dawn, thick with mist and chirping birds in the cypress tops, Ella stepped outside to find Lila, Myra, and Faye waiting on the porch. They grabbed her hands, voices warm in unison. "We'll help with chores, then go to the festival together." Excitement surged through Ella. She pictured herself in a traditional cloak, a white lily crown in her hair, stepping into the mystic river rite. Though her father's warning nagged, their friendly eyes and zeal swayed her. Ella nodded, her smile blooming like a water lily, believing her friends were helping her live her dream of joining the festival for the first time. The girls swiftly divided tasks. Lila swept the yard, Myra gathered wood, Faye prepared pig feed. Ella, in the centre, mended jute clothes with her mother's skill, then joined them to scrub the kitchen and wash dishes. Laughter rang through the yard, mingling with the clink of lily crowns brushing together. They chatted lively, recounting last year's festival, blazing fires, animal calls, and dancing until dawn. Each tale fueled Ella's longing, drowning her cautions. The girls' affectionate glances lulled her into total trust. None suspected their smiles hid a sinister plot. With chores done, Lila signalled. The group clasped hands, leaving the narrow lane, weaving through dense palmetto to the flooded forest's edge. The path to the river was rough, slick stones amid reeds. Harsh sunlight pierced leaves, scattering glints on the ground. Ella breathed deep the wild scent, rice grass, stagnant water, damp earth. Her steps echoed, freedom she'd long craved. She glanced back at the valley where festival smoke curled from distant tents. Drums faintly pulsed, like a call to a sacred union of man and river spirit. But nearing the river, the air turned chilly. Water's damp breath sent shivers through her skin. The path fell silent. No birds, only rustling leaves. The girls suddenly hushed, their shadows stretching long on mossy earth. Before Ella could ask why they grew sombre, Myra gripped her hand, eyes darting. Lila's voice dropped, chilling Ella. "Don't forget the offering. The mermaid doesn't jest." They smiled again, hurrying on. The late afternoon sun faded, the scene cloaked in deep purple, both dreamy and eerie. At the riverbank, unease crept into Ella's heart. She bent to pick lily leaves, rummaging for rice, but found only stale cornbread. Her father's warning rang clear. "Don't go to the festival. The river isn't safe." She looked up, seeking her friends' warmth, but saw them exchanging glances. Her heart tightened, danger encircling her. Throat dry, she tried calling Lila, but her cry caught. Time slowed, the drums across the bank fading, swallowed by the reeds' murmur. Silence fell as Ella answered Myra's whisper. I have no offering." The girls stood steps away, yet a chasm apart. Lila's lips curled, eyes gleaming with triumph. "We've prepared ours, you're on your own." Myra nodded, voice flat. "We can't risk helping you." Faye turned away, face cold. The sun sank behind cypresses, a faint pink on the horizon. Ella's trust crumbled like dry cornbread. She stepped back, but mud and roots snared her feet. In a flash, wind roared, waves churning a mournful tune. The river surged, white foam swirling. A shadowy form rose, long hair blending with night. The mermaid's icy eyes pierced Ella with scorn. No reminder needed. Ella knew she'd crossed a folk curse's line. All she trusted, friendship, village bonds, vanished. The river swelled, yanking Ella's feet into the current. Her scream drowned in the flow. The mermaid's pale hand grazed her arm, lifting her from mud suspended in air. Moonlight cast their clashing souls, Ella's radiant innocence against the spirit's vengeful chill. Before sinking fully, Ella recalled her grandmother's song. If a kind heart is brave, the river's soul finds peace. She hummed it mentally, clinging to calm, but the tide overwhelmed, draining her fight. Her last glimpse was those cold eyes nearing, translucent hands pulling her into the watery realm. On the bank, the girls stood frozen, stunned by myth meeting reality. Before they could gloat, a parrot's wail from riverside reeds carved their crime into the night. Its mournful song tore darkness, exposing their lies. Their faces blanched, realizing secrets wouldn't stay buried. As Ella sank to the riverbed, only mist lingered. The mermaid vanished, leaving a still scene and raw pain. The girls fled, legs trembling before the river's stained shadows, abandoning their curse and gnawing guilt. Her mother's warning echoed like a death knell. Not everyone who smiles is a friend. The village would never forget that night, when Louisiana's river claimed a pure soul, igniting a tear-soaked saga where love and trust faced their ultimate test. Here, the true story begins, from envy's darkness, through family love's trials, to a quest for salvation and a lost soul's redemption. Across the river, where festival fires flickered like countless stars, the river festival unfolded like a mystic painting, ablaze with colour and sound. Throbbing drums echoed, frenzied dancers' steps wove a rhythmic tide that gripped the night, drawing all into a wild symphony of beat and emotion. Dancers twirled under blazing flames, skirts fluttering, their glowing faces reflecting the fire's rosy hue. Stalls lined the grassy banks, brimming with intricate crafts. Pristine water lily crowns, dragon-painted masks, chestnut shell bracelets, and the tantalizing aromas of fried cornbread, molasses candy, and spicy Creole dishes. Ella, a young woman stepping beyond her familiar swamp for the first time, stood awe-struck amid the vibrant chaos. Her eyes widened, darting from one marvel to another. The cacophony, drums pounding, crowds murmuring, formed a lively chorus. The scent of gumbo, blending shrimp, crab, flour, and fiery spices mingled with water lily smoke, lifting her senses to a dreamlike realm. Ella breathed deeply, the festival's pulse coursing through her. Her heart thrummed, nearly spilling over with joy. She wove slowly through the throng, eyes soaking in every sight. Couples swaying to drum beats, children giggling in parents' arms, elders tapping rhythms with dry staffs. Eyes turned to her, drawn by her white dress and delicate lily crown, Ella a living enchantment in the glowing feast. Whispers floated. That's the girl from the riverside village. Look, her smile's like dawn. From a shadowed corner, Lila, Myra, and Faye watched her every move. Their gazes mixed admiration with envy, a dark fire smouldering. They saw the gentle, dutiful girl from yesterday transformed into the festival's heart. Each praise, each longing glance Ella drew, deepened their bitterness, burying fairness under resentment. Behind practiced smiles, they traded sharp looks, their hearts brewing malice. Amid the crowd, Josiah appeared in humble attire. Beige linen shirt, khaki pants rolled to his calves, worn leather shoes. Under firelight, his ashen hair gleamed silver. His clothes hid his status, but his bearing hinted at regality. His eyes caught Ella's, captivated by her genuine smile. They locked gazes, his eyes sparkling as if piercing her soul. Approaching with measured steps, synced to the drums, he spoke warmly, curious. "Who are you?" Stealing the festival's gaze. Ella blushed, flustered by his sudden presence. She nodded shyly, eyes flickering with delight. "I'm just Ella from the Riverside family," she replied softly. Her quiet voice made Josiah smile as if he'd found a treasure. Ella a name like a lullaby. "May I know you more?" he pressed, voice rich. Her smile widened, voice clear. From awkward first words, their talk warmed, laced with laughter and glinting glances. Josiah shared why he came disguised. "I'm here not just to watch, but to find a true heart in this vibrant world." Ella ducked her head, smiling bashfully, her eyes alight with trust. She spoke of her childhood tied to folk songs and river rites, her dream to spread faith and hope. Josiah listened, her words unlocking his heart. They strolled past dazzling stalls, sampling crisp cornbread and sticky molasses candy. Josiah gently took Ella's hand, her heart racing, cheeks flushed. Under a sky of twinkling lanterns, amid drums and mesmerizing dances, love sparked like a tender flame, illuminating the festival. Time paused, leaving only their laughter and warm gazes in a private world. Meanwhile, Lila, Myra, and Faye stood apart, arms crossed, faces brooding. Their cold eyes tracked Ella, their whispers sharp. Who does she think she is? Words laced with thorns. They envied not just her smile and attention, but knew Josiah's affection. A man of regional renown could bring status and power. Their minds birthed a cruel plan: exploit Ella's missing offering to punish her, framing her as the river's victim. Lila edged forward, Myra nodded, Faye leaned in, their eyes blazing with intent. No words needed, a glance sealed their pact. This wasn't just betraying friendship, it was thrusting a naive girl into mortal danger. They knew Ella lacked an offering, consumed by joy and new love, and they aimed to wield that against her. Back with Ella and Josiah, they were lost in talk of folklore, Josiah's distant festival memories, and future dreams. He touched her shoulder, eyes sincere. "You bring me peace I've long sought." Ella dipped her head, cheeks rosy, her heart dancing with the drums. Josiah's presence felt safe, erasing her fears. She met his gaze, eyes shining, revealing her heart. The festival's tempo surged, intoxicating. Colourful lanterns gleamed like fallen stars, painting faces in rainbow hues. The air pulsed with drums, blurring dream and reality. In the shadows, the trio slipped closer. Lila neared, hand poised to shove Ella from Josiah. Myra pulled her back, eyes flashing worry. They chose to wait until the festival waned, when fatigue dulled vigilance, to lure Ella to the dark river. Envy didn't just simmer, it turned them into foes of friendship and conscience. Unaware, Ella basked in bliss. She and Josiah joined the main dance, where performers spun by roaring fires. On a wooden platform, drums shook their hearts. Josiah placed a hand on Ella's waist, inviting her to sway. She laughed, forgetting her parents' warnings, lost in the fiery dance. Each twirl, each chuckle drew them closer, their hearts entwining. Far off, Lila, Myra, and Faye shuddered as drums echoed. A chilling air spread, unsettling them. They exchanged glances, sensing delay. The festival still thrummed, not yet time for their scheme. But envy spurred them. They pushed through the crowd, skirting the river, plotting to separate Ella from Josiah. Ella, drunk on joy, didn't sense the stalking steps or dark intent. She heard only drums and Josiah's boots on wood, a mystic melody. His grip tightened, a silent vow to stay near. They smiled, hearts full of trust and hope. Time froze, bound by drums and budding love. But beyond the festival's glow, doom lurked by the water. As drums faded to a close, the crowd thinning, Ella recalled her parents' warning about the offering. She scanned around, heart sinking, realizing her bag held no tribute. Turning to Josiah, lips trembling. I forgot the offering. He leaned close, hand on her shoulder. It's all right. You're safe with me. His gentle eyes promised to dispel fear. At that moment, Lila, Myra, and Faye emerged behind, gazes like stone. They awaited Ella's lapse to thrust her into darkness. Their script was set. Pull her from Josiah's arms, lead her to the cold river where drums had stilled, leaving only silent night. The climax loomed, tragedy poised, as joy turned to dread and friendship shattered in tears. In the fading firelight, Ella remained blind to the nearing peril. Entranced by Josiah, she forgot warnings, the river's eerie pull. Her heart raced, not for drums, but for pure love blooming. Yet that love, in a flash, became the target of a sinister plot, as three envious girls resolved that one misstep would plunge her into the mystic abyss of the River Festival. Tonight, under blazing fires and enchanting drums, Ella faced a life-or-death choice between trust in friendship and the curse of the river spirit. On the narrow path back to the village across the River Festival's vibrancy faded, giving way to a silent night and thick, chilly mist rising from the water. Colourful lanterns wilted, their flickering light barely piercing the cypress leaves, casting eerie shadows that weighed on each step. The lively drums and laughter dissolved into rustling reeds and the soft tread of three girls leading Ella toward the river's heart. Lila, with a knowing smirk, paused. Myra and Faye caught her signal. From a worn cloth bag, Lila drew 3 dry cornbread pieces, just enough for them. Dim lantern light illuminated their faces, their silhouettes like 3 spectres in the dark. Ella, naive, trusting in friendship and community, felt a chill as she saw the meagre offerings in Lila's hand. She reached out, voice trembling. "Please give me one. I didn't know the rules. I forgot." Her eyes, wide and teary, reflected her paralysis. No offering to honour her parents' warnings, herself, or the river's spirit. Fear lodged in her heart, devouring the joy that had just bloomed. Lila's lips curled, her smile now pale and barren. Her voice slithered through the air. "We brought enough for ourselves. You're on your own." Myra's faint smile was icy. "The festival's our business. You shouldn't have come." Faye, lips tight, turned away. "Don't blame us." They brushed past Ella, leaving her alone on the damp grass, darkness thickening. Her heart pounded. She clasped her hands, pleading, but only her ragged breaths echoed in the vast silence. She searched for safety, but ahead lay only the still river, a silver mirror under the moon. The starless sky let faint moonlight filter through clouds, glinting on the water and sprawling cypress shadows. The once gentle river turned ominous, its small waves lapping with menace. A weak glow sparked from the depths, then vanished. It flared again, stronger, like cold lightning rippling across. Ella clutched a reed, but her fingers slipped on its slick surface. Then, in the hushed darkness, the mermaid appeared. Legends told of her dual nature, a guardian of the river, both benevolent protector and merciless judge of those who crossed without tribute. Ella saw her clearly, hair gleaming like amethyst, scales shimmering emerald, eyes blazing like fire. Her presence froze the air, a frigid weight gripping every breath. Her voice rang, sharp as rushing water. "You dare cross without an offering?" It hissed like 1,000 axes through reeds, shattering Ella's heart. Panicked, Ella's eyes pleaded. "I didn't know. I forgot. Please forgive me." Her words faded into the night, too weak to reach the creature's icy heart. The mermaid sneered, voice glacial. "A fool's excuse won't soothe the river's wrath." Before Ella could grasp the moment, the mermaid's hands clamped her wrists. She was dragged toward the water, step by inexorable step, as if pulled by an unseen force. Icy waves bit her skin, making her gasp in pain. Her cries for help dissolved into the river, leaving only the sound of lapping water and her frantic heartbeat. On the far bank, Lila, Myra, and Faye stood silent, smug smiles of triumph. They believed their plan had succeeded. Ella would vanish forever. Fear and secret power glinted in their eyes. They didn't know their cruel secret had been witnessed, and the haunting wouldn't end with a girl's disappearance. In the night stillness, a faint cheep-cheep pierced the air from the reeds. A small parrot, feathers damp with dew, emerged from a thicket. Its eyes glistened with pity and rage. Clutching a tiny leaf, It sang a mournful, soul-wrenching tune, slow and piercing, like the swamp's sigh. The song soothed pain but chilled the bone. The three girls flinched, eyes darting, faces paling. They stared at the parrot, then each other, frozen. Its sad melody persisted, an undeniable testament to their cruelty. By the river, the mermaid held Ella, her fiery eyes boring into her soul, but something shifted. The parrot's song seemed to haunt her. Her shoulders trembled, her grip loosening. Ella fell, floating on the cold water, no longer sinking. The mermaid retreated, eyes tinged with sorrow. That song. Who dares speak? Her voice softened as if a buried grief stirred. Ella, startled, still adrift, thrashed weakly. As her head broke the surface, the parrot vanished into the night, leaving a feather in the reeds. She screamed, voice breaking, "Mama, Papa!" Her cry didn't just ripple over the water, it reached the far bank, where Josiah, torch in hand, searched frantically. Josiah heard her, seizing a nearby cane boat and paddling through the dark. His torch lit the water, revealing Ella clinging to a submerged root. He reached her, pulling her into his arms. Ella collapsed against his shoulder, tears streaming. Josiah held her close, whispering, "You're safe now. I won't leave you." On the sandy bank, villagers gathered, their eyes a mix of fear and fury at the scene. They glared at Lila, Myra, and Faye, recognizing their betrayal of friendship and community. The river, long a sacred haven, now bore witness to crime and courage. Elders placed lilies and rice on a small raft, offering prayers for Ella's soul. The oldest woman, hands trembling with a pearl rosary, sang folk lullabies to dispel the darkness cloaking the mermaid's heart. The three girls, facing the villagers' wrath and accusations, found no defense. They stared, stunned, realizing the parrot had betrayed their plot. Silence fell like a black velvet curtain, broken only by wind and the rosary's soft clink. In that moment, the mermaid reappeared at the water's edge, her gaze softer. She didn't chase the girls, but spoke like an ancient echo. Sow malice, reap bitterness. An innocent soul isn't a tool for envy. Her voice carried across the water, touching every heart. Lila, Myra, and Faye bowed their heads, tears falling, consumed by regret. The river calmed, moonlight dancing on its surface as if cleansing sin. Ella, trembling in Josiah's arms, her eyes sparked with faith and resolve. Looking at the girls, she whispered, "I forgive you, for the river's spirit gave us a chance to atone." The trio lifted their heads, shocked and moved. They hadn't expected such grace from the girl they'd doomed. The far bank brightened as if washed of rage and tinged with hope. Villagers clapped to a gentle drumbeat, cheering reconciliation and love. The story closed with Ella and Josiah on a cane raft laden with offerings, gliding to the river's heart. They placed lilies and rice on the still water. The mermaid appeared one last time, nodding farewell, then dissolved into silver mist. Drums of faith and kinship sounded, ending a tragic night but dawning forgiveness. Ever after, when the riverbank lit up, villagers spoke of the brave parrot, the gentle girl, the disguised prince, three chastened friends, and the mermaid who taught a timeless lesson. Envy destroys, but love and forgiveness heal. Truth unveiled, the secret became not a burden but a thread binding hearts, weaving an immortal legend by Louisiana's river. Ella's parents returned to the village at dusk, their steps faltering with dread. The red dirt path to their thatched home stretched endlessly, each gust through the reeds carrying their daughter's imagined cries. At the gate, her absence struck them. The low fence creaked open in the breeze, revealing an empty yard, save for a yellowed paper on the threshold, the chore list Ella's father had written. Cold sweat beaded his brow as he stammered, voice breaking, "Ella, where are you?" They rushed through the village, knocking on every door, pleading with neighbours. The rice vendor shook her head. "Haven't seen her buy any rice." The old net weaver by the dock glanced up, muttering, "Only 2 boys fishing today, no girls." Their desperate cries of "Ella!" echoed through alleys, met only with pitying headshakes. The peaceful village had never seen a mother and father search for their child in such frantic darkness. Ella's mother, heart shattered, sobbed into her hands. "Bella! Bella, she'd never leave without telling us," she wailed. Each Bella was a tear hitting the earth, tearing her apart. Villagers crowded the path to the river, eyes heavy with worry. Whispers spread of river curses, the mermaid's stern justice, and festival nights trading joy for dread. Rumours swirled. Had Ella crossed without an offering, ensnared by the water spirit's oath? Days passed, the village steeped in grief. Adults' eyes held deep fear. Children asked bewilderedly, "Why hasn't she come back?" At night, a lone torch flickered in the communal yard, its faint glow battling the dark. Ella's mother sat by the door, staring into the black sky, hands on her gaunt face, clinging to hope of seeing her daughter's silhouette. Each breeze laden with reed and stagnant water scents tricked her into hearing Ella's steps. She sat silent, eyes fixed on the path to the river, the last place she'd seen Ella vanish amid festival torches. Ella's father, face haggard from sleepless worry, never stopped searching. By day, he shielded his head with a wide straw hat, wading through swamp grasses, calling Ella's name through leafy gaps. By night, under a hazy moon, he rowed a small boat across calm waters, murmuring prayers. Each return, though exhausted, he clutched a wooden tag carved with her name, the last gift he'd made before the festival. One night, as crickets chirped and the air thickened with mist and silt, Ella's parents froze at a faint song from the roadside thicket. A mournful Creole folk tune, laced with distant nostalgia, drifted through. They paused, eyes locked on the sound's source. From a rotting cypress root, a bedraggled parrot emerged, one wing patchy, trembling in its faded feathers. Its eyes gleamed with indescribable pain, like a lost child's gaze. Each note stilled their blood. The song unveiled the three girls' crime. The torch in her father's hand wavered, flames glinting on tears streaking his face. Ella's mother clung to him, sobbing, "Our girl! Is she still out there?" They stared at the parrot, seeking answers in its dimming gaze. The villagers' silence grew oppressive. Darkness cloaked them, but the torch's fading light revealed fury in Ella's parents' hearts. Fear of myths faded. They saw only the culprit's evil. Her father, voice trembling, "We must face the mermaid to save her." Her mother nodded, eyes steely. Word spread like a southern gust. By morning, the village awoke with fierce resolve. They'd pray, prepare offerings, and beg the mermaid to release Ella's soul. Cane rafts were rewoven, white lilies and sticky rice meticulously gathered, hearths blazing for a supernatural rite. Amid the dock's hammering, the boatmaker whispered, "This isn't just saving a child, it's upholding our honor before the water spirit." As afternoon fell, Ella's parents led the procession to the riverbank. The water lay still, rippling faintly under moonlight. Villagers lined up, offerings in hand, eyes brimming with hope. The festival's drums were history. Now only the small church bell by the river tolled, blending with the parents' calls for Ella. Their steps carried solemn weight. Ella's mother approached the water's edge, placing rice and lilies on a raft. She gazed at the river's heart, whispering, "Please, mermaid, hear a mother's love. Return my child's soul." The bell's chime wove a gentle melody into the silent night. From the river's core, the water stirred unnaturally. A faint glow emerged, forming the mermaid. Her pearl-smooth skin and black hair melded with the dark current. Her eyes shimmered, somber, yet commanding. Rising slowly, she sent small waves across the bank. She didn't attack, but her mystic aura made the crowd step back. Ella's father knelt before her, sweat soaking his shirt, voice quaking. "Forgive our daughter. She was innocent, unaware of the rules. Return her soul so our family can be whole." Her mother knelt beside, hands clasped, tears streaming. She's still alive. Give her a chance to live. The mermaid stood silent, eyes scanning the crowd. Seconds stretched like centuries until the old boat weaver sang the parrot's mournful tune. The folk melody echoed, turning the mermaid's gaze to the reeds where the bird had hidden. Her eyes flickered with emotion. She sensed the parrot's courage and the parent's burning love. At last she swayed her hair, voice soft as a languid stream. Familial love has touched the water spirit's heart. You've shown remorse and pleaded. I'll return her soul, but no love's power surpasses any curse. With that, she sank, leaving a shimmering silver wake. The bank erupted in quiet cheers. Ella's parents rose, exchanging stunned glances as if touched by a miracle. They scoured the reeds, calling Ella's name. Then, in the glinting water, wet hair flashed, and wide, bewildered eyes appeared. Ella emerged, shivering, gasping, face gaunt but eyes alight. Her mother enveloped her, tears mingling. Her father, teary, whispered her name, gripping her small hand. Villagers swarmed, clapping in joy. They touched shoulders, shouting in relief. The village warmed as if soothed of its wounds. The mermaid had punished but was swayed by compassion and atonement, breaking the curse. The final scene closed with Ella's family hand in hand, walking the path home, cypress shadows dancing on the moonlit water. A reminder that love and forgiveness outmatch any supernatural force. In the night breeze, the parrot's brave song faintly lingered, praising resilient life and unbreakable kinship. Beneath the shimmering silver moonlight, Louisiana's river gleamed like a vast mirror, reflecting the night cosmos. Misty vapors rose, blending with incense, weaving a mystic air humming with the night's whispers. From the riverside reeds, a faint cheep-cheep sounded, heralding a mysterious guide. The small parrot, feathers slick with dew, wings trembling, lifted its head to Ella's parents. Sole witness to the tragedy, it seemed to grasp its vital mission, to lead Ella's family to the mermaid. Following the parrot, Ella's parents pressed through thin fog, their steps sinking into soft, wet mud. Clasping hands tightly, their eyes swirled with hope and fear. The festival drums had long faded, leaving only the vast dark and the parrot's faint folk tune. Each note was a soft cry for rescue, guiding them to where Ella vanished. They paused, gazing at the moonlit, glinting water, their last hope of finding her. In the still silence, they called out together, "Mermaid, please appear! Return our daughter!" Their voices echoed a fervent plea to the heavens. Across the bank, villagers gathered, eyes red with worry, watching silently, hearts pounding, awaiting the mythic creature few believed still existed. Moments later, the calm water parted in a radiant circle. From the river's depths, the mermaid emerged, her cold eyes piercing the bank. Her mournful beauty shone, hair blending with the river's deep green, pearlescent skin, silver scales glinting under the moon. Her gaze, far from kind, brimmed with authority and severity. Beside her stood Ella, small and still, face pale, eyes vacant like a sleepwalker's. Her parents' breaths caught. The mermaid's voice thundered, "She belongs to me. You broke the river's law, forgot the offering, and her heart withered before my mercy." Villagers stepped back, sensing her supernatural might. Ella's parents, wiping tears, stifled pain, daring to plead. "Please." Her father knelt, trembling hands raised, eyes locked on the mermaid's. "Return our daughter, forgive her mistake." The mermaid tilted her head, her somber eyes flickering with surprise. Familial love, unknown to folklore. After a pause, she gave a faint smile, voice still icy but touched. "I'll grant one final chance. If her parents cross the river without raft or plea for aid, their hearts prove brave and selfless. Succeed, and she is free." Ella's parents didn't hesitate. They rose, hands still clasped. Villagers lined the bank, raising Creole hymns. Songs soared, small drums rattled, melodies mingling with hopeful sobs. The choir filled the riverfront, bolstering Ella's parents. In moonlight, reeds swayed with each note. Her father stepped into the water first, his worn shirt soaked, feet marked by old well salt stains. Her mother followed, frail but eyes blazing with resolve. The icy currents stung their skin, yet they pressed on, unwavering. The folk hymns grew louder, becoming prayers. Grant these hearts reunion. A strange breeze stirred, ripples spreading, buoying them on the surface. Villagers erupted in cheers, drums urging the miracle. Ella's parents moved as one, hearts racing, each step steadied by the river's unseen strength. At the river's heart, they faced the mermaid, her eyes glinting with emotion. Her father reached out, touching the mermaid's waist, whispering, "We thank the river. Thank you for hearing human love." Her mother laid a hand on his, then turned to Ella. In that moment, the mermaid nodded, scales falling like tears into the water, merging with their hands. Ella sobbed, tears streaming, clutching her mother's hand, eyes wide as she saw her parents mid-river. Her mother rushed forward, enveloping her, choked sobs echoing. Her father wiped tears, voice breaking. "You're back." Their love burst like fireworks, turning the bank into a stage of wonder. As moonlight pierced the leaves, reflecting on calm water, the mermaid appeared one last time. Her eyes softened, voice a melody in the mist. "Your love has conquered all curses. She is free." With that, she sank, leaving a tranquil wake. Villagers surged forward, encircling Ella's family, embracing in boundless joy. Drums shifted to jubilant song, life resuming with a deeper mark of magic. Ella's mother whispered, "Nothing is stronger than family love." Her father lifted his daughter, holding her mother's hand, gestures warm with care. They passed through the crowd, bathed in blessings and thanks. Every gaze held the tale of courage, faith, and love. The riverbank fell quiet, water flowing gently, as if never touched by threats. But memories of the trial, the parrot's song, and love's miracle would endure. That night, under radiant moonlight, the Louisiana village affirmed, "No curse is stronger than steadfast faith, no power greater than true love." Above, the moon hung, witness to a night when the river wrought magic. News of the dramatic riverbank ordeal spread like wildfire through Louisiana's swamps, igniting every thatched roof and narrow alley. Villagers buzzed, hands clutching lotus water cups, tearful eyes fixed on the river where a miracle unfolded. They recounted how Ella's parents bravely crossed icy waters, how the mermaid released their daughter from a curse's chains, and, above all, how a parrot's mournful song exposed the treachery of Lila, Myra, and Faye. In an instant, the trio's hidden crime burst open. Whispers hissed, "Lila, Myra, Faye." They abandoned Ella at the river. Glowing lanterns couldn't dispel the darkness in every heart as silent fury kindled. From elders to children, faces blended sorrow and rage. Lila, Myra, and Faye, hearing the damning news, felt terror's grip. They fled into the dense forest, where gnarled cypresses loomed like a shrinking sky, thick canopies threatening to swallow their steps. The night forest, pitch black, cracked with snapping twigs, mists coiling like a labyrinth without end. Darkness engulfed the betrayers. The ancient woods, unforgiving to those who sowed pain, became their eternal prison. Their tale became a stark warning. When friendship turns, when envy leads, people bury themselves in their own shadows. No one reached out to save Lila, Myra, or Faye. Villagers united in condemnation, sharing furious glances and stern rebukes. They demanded King Chidi enforce the region's iron laws, punishing deceit and disloyalty. This was no mere matter of offerings or magic, but a sacred moral breach. A royal envoy arrived bearing Chidi's decree. Though busy with court, the king, upon hearing of the crime, swiftly ordered the trio's exile to the deep forest, forever barred from the village. The exile ceremony was swift and sombre. Villagers gathered by the river, faces heavy but resolute. They watched Lila, Myra, and Faye led away, steps weary, shoulders slumped under the community's cursing stares. Their silhouettes testified to friendship's betrayal, a painful lesson on envy and lies. Henceforth, each river festival lacked their white dresses, replaced by an empty void and the mournful beat of an exile march. Meanwhile, across the bank, Josiah, known only as the disguised prince, smiled softly, finding Ella by the river, freed from the mermaid's icy grasp. He wove through reeds, unfazed, resting a hand on her shoulder with tender eyes. Ella looked up, eyes red from her nightmare but sparking hope at the man who sparked her family's miracle. Amid flickering campfires, Josiah gently took Ella's small hand. He revealed himself as Prince Chidi of a neighbouring realm, who left his palace seeking a true heart in a chaotic world. Ella, the swamp girl, couldn't fathom he'd followed festival drums for true love. Kneeling, not grandly, but sincerely, he spoke. "Your kindness and courage won my heart. Will you grant me the honour of a future together?" Ella, shy and joyful, blushed and nodded, accepting his simple yet profound proposal. Drums rang out, a song for new love, and the miracle brightening the village after days of grief. Villagers cheered, forest creatures echoing blessings. Ella and Josiah's wedding was held simply by the river, where festival waters once pulsed. White magnolias formed a graceful arch over the path to a humble wooden stage. Magnolia wreaths adorned the village gate, petals glowing under moonlight. Creole drums thrummed, gongs chimed with swaying leaves, the air dancing to love's rhythm. At the ceremony, Josiah gave Ella a silver ring etched with fish scales, symbolizing the bond between humans and river spirits. Ella, smiling, offered a white silk sash, signifying devotion and lifelong loyalty. Villagers lined up, clapping and cheering, witnessing two hearts vow to walk as one. The wedding's joy erased past shadows. Lila, Myra, and Faye, confined in the deep forest, paid dearly for their betrayal. As wedding drums echoed, their lost figures in the woods gazed skyward, gripped by regret and fear, realizing their self-imposed sentence for forsaking friendship and sowing hate. Ella and Josiah's romance melted hearts. Audiences wept for their simple joy, for love's power to heal pain. The river calmed, serene as ever, yet marked by its saga. Yet a secret lingered. In Ella's gentle gaze, fixed where the mermaid once appeared, burned a deep desire to repay the mythic being who freed her. In a rare, quiet moment, she whispered, "I'll find her, to thank her and free her truly." Mist rose from the river as if affirming, the story wasn't over. On the full moon night, wedding drums faded, leaving only joyful echoes. But from the lake's deep emerald depths, a faint sound stirred, the mermaid's reply. The tranquil river marked a new journey's start, where family love, courage, and forgiveness triumphed over curses. Ella, now bearing a greater duty, vowed to return love and gratitude to the source of her miracle. The next chapter promises more thrills as the mermaid and kind-hearted girl face new trials, protecting the river's spirit and balancing human and mystic worlds. It's a tale of compassion's seeds, sown by miracles and reaped through true love. Under the glistening silver moonlight, Ella returned to the riverbank, a place of both haunting sorrow and wondrous miracles. In her hand was a small bamboo basket holding a few golden cornbread pieces, the humblest gift she believed could carry her gratitude. A night breeze rustled the water lilies as if welcoming her steps. The dock lay eerily still. The festival drums, folk songs, and wedding revelry had faded, leaving a mystic silence only the moon and river understood. Ella approached the water's edge, placing the basket on a damp stone. She bowed and called into the night, "Mermaid, I've returned with an offering to thank your mercy." Her voice echoed, a timeless chant in the vast stillness. Clutching her chest, she waited, eyes closed, breathing deeply to quell fear, holding only sincere gratitude for the being who saved her. Soon the water parted in shimmering ripples, a silver glow flashing. The mermaid emerged, her hair blending soft purple and emerald, silver scales sparkling like crystal. Her eyes were gentle yet bore traces of an ancient curse's wounds. Ella stepped forward, voice trembling. "I bring cornbread, a token of thanks. My heart forever owes you for your forgiveness and aid." The mermaid tilted her head, eyes glinting with appreciation, her voice smooth as flowing water. "A girl's kindness amid peril and her family's love gripped me like the mightiest current. Now I share my tale. So you know why the water spirit's heart isn't always kind." Ella sat cross-legged by the bank, listening intently. The mermaid, once a mortal, was a beautiful maiden from a village across the swamp. She loved a poor youth, saving him from death's grasp. But a jealous forest sorceress cursed her, transforming her into a half-human, half-fish creature, chaining her to the swamp, freeing her only when loneliness surged. Thus she became the mermaid, trapped in the river, robbed of freedom, awaiting a heart pure and brave enough to break her curse. The curse breaks only when a selfless heart, not just toward me, but toward those who cause pain, reaches the water spirit's depths, she said. Curses stem from hate, but can be undone by love and forgiveness. She lifted her face, moonlight dancing on her scales, breathtakingly radiant. "Your family's love melted my heart," she confessed, unlocking her long-sealed truth. Tears welled in Ella's eyes, sparkling like pearls. She couldn't let this gentle being remain bound by mystic chains. Turning to Chidi, the disguised prince who stood by her through every trial, she said, "We need a priestess." Chidi nodded, eyes alight with faith. They summoned the village's seasoned priestess, versed in ancient rites, skilled in offerings and sacred chants. As night deepened, the riverbank was adorned. White lily wreaths formed a circle. Pristine, sticky rice lay on green banana leaves. Oil lamps cast golden flickers. Villagers gathered on both banks, silent and solemn, raising Creole hymns, their voices both soaring and prayerful. A breeze carried incense and rice scents, stirring a sacred somber awe in every heart. The priestess, slender, silver-haired, stepped to the river's center, holding a small bronze bell. She raised it, its soft chimes piercing the quiet, opening the rite. She lifted rice and lilies, placing them on a makeshift altar, then chanted a calming spell in an ancient tongue. Each word rang bold, echoing into the river like a call to spirits. Her work, woven with the villagers' song, formed a wondrous symphony. In that moment, the water surged, swirling into a silver circle. The mermaid reappeared, now walking the surface like a mortal on land. All watched a radiant miracle. The curse's chains shattered, silver scales vanished, replaced by pearlescent skin. She gazed at herself, then to the sky, eyes clear as an unrippled autumn lake. A serene smile bloomed like countless lilies unfurling under moonlight. A roar of applause shook the riverbank. Villagers cheered, tears mixing with laughter, a reborn festival of humanity and mystic harmony. Ella, overcome, embraced the mermaid, tears flowing with gratitude. Chidi approached, offering a delicate cloak woven of lotus leaves and lilies, a gift of freedom and grace. The mermaid draped it over her shoulders, bowing in thanks. From then the river flowed gently. Moonlight danced on its calm surface, ripples whispering lullabies. Ella and Chidi returned to the village, hand in hand, leading with compassionate hearts. They revived the annual River Festival, not just for offerings, but to honor love and forgiveness's miracle. The village thrived, crops flourished, lily gardens bloomed, children's laughter rang by the water. The tale closed in the warm dawn after the moonlit night. Its message echoed, love and forgiveness can break any curse, heal any wound. Cherish family, open your heart to the fallen, for kindness outshines all powers. Yet, in a shadowed corner by ancient waterlogged roots, a secret lingered. The mermaid, now free, occasionally bore eyes tinged with old sorrow. Was her heart truly at peace, or did another legend stir beneath the river? The next chapter promises new mysteries, as Ella and Chidi continue safeguarding the balance between human and mystic worlds by Louisiana's river.